Hello, this is Buddy from Mr.MetaChess, and in this video I'm covering part 1 of a 3-part series where I talk about supplies for the hybrid wargame MetaChess. If you've already purchased the rulebook, thank you. If not, you can pick it up through wargamevault.com. It's a 22-page rulebook with a 12-page appendix. And currently the game is available in a downloadable PDF format. As I explained in the preface of the rulebook, this game runs parallel with the core idea of agnostic wargames. In other words, customization and creativity is a big part of the game experience, and DIY is highly encouraged. Note that this game is probably not ideal for casual board gamers. It's a bit involved in terms of the setup, and you can expect to build your team from scratch, fill out profile cards, assemble little flags that are attached to your miniatures, cut out card templates, and basically occupy a large chunk of tabletop space. So the setup and game itself is not as quick and straightforward as a classic chess game. However, for the agnostic wargamer and folks who enjoy DIY gaming and miniatures projects, you'll be right at home here with MetaChess. So let's get into part 1 and talk about the supplies. Now, some of these supplies are things you probably already have, things like various game accessories, dice, tokens, and maybe other miscellaneous game items that you already use to play other games. However, MetaChess is a game that does involve some prep work and assembly. There are several supplies you'll need to build or assemble, but the nice thing about the rulebook is that it includes a full appendix with all of the templates for the various supplies that you'll need to build for this game. Okay, so first up on the list is miniatures. Now, MetaChess is a miniatures wargame that you'll play on a standard chessboard. The number of game pieces matches the number of pieces you would use in a traditional or classic chess game. The rulebook gets into more of the specifics about the miniatures, but basically for MetaChess you are building a custom chessboard. Overall, you need 32 miniatures, 16 for the white team or faction for player 1, and 16 for the black team or faction for player 2. So you can either build miniatures for this game or select miniatures that you already have in your collection. Overall, you want to use miniatures that mirror a classic chess game. In other words, you need 3 matching minis for the aristocrats, which are the rooks, knights, and bishops, and 8 matching minis for your proletariat or pawns. And of course, 2 minis for what's called royalty in MetaChess, which is your king and queen. In the examples here, I have a setup with 32 custom-built miniatures, and I built these exclusively for MetaChess. Okay, so that covers miniatures. Next up, we're going to talk about the profile cards. You'll need 1 profile card for each of the miniatures on your team. So you'll have 32 profile cards. Again, the templates are included in the appendix, and we'll talk about real quick what's on each profile card. So you have the card number, the role and group, the weapons, which is the dice that you'll use in combat, the armor and defense dice, and the vitality. The ghost token there is something we'll talk about a little bit later. So the profile cards are useful because they have different game information about all the different miniatures on your team, all the different weapons that your team has, and there's an A slot and a B slot for weapons and armor. So you can flip a coin to determine which weapon or armor you use during combat. So again, you'll have 32 cards, 16 for each team, and that covers the profile cards. Next up, we'll talk about meditation cards. Meditation cards are something that you'll use whenever you roll doubles in combat. Let's see if I can roll doubles here. Boom, first try. So the meditation cards, you'll set them off to the side of your chessboard. They include all sorts of game modifiers and unique conditions that really spice up the game, and it's really what makes MetaChess and not your typical chess game. So MetaChess is really kind of chess on steroids. So you got 20 of these cards. You'll set them off to the side of your board. You'll want to shuffle them before the game starts, and they're pretty cool. What I like to do is whenever you draw a card, either store it off to the side of the chessboard. You can either tuck it under the chessboard, or you can set it next to the miniature profile card that rolled the MetaChess card during its turn. So that covers MetaChess cards. Next we'll talk about action tokens. There's several tokens you'll use in this game, and you'll have one set of tokens, and I keep them in these little Tupperware trays. One for player 1, and another tray of tokens for player 2. So here are all the tokens, and again, these are templates that you can print off from the rule book. So you have one set of tokens for player 1, the white faction, and another set of tokens for player 2, the black faction. And we'll go through real quick and talk about what these abbreviations mean. So you have 2 attack tokens, 2 counterattack tokens, 2 dodge parry, 1 evade, 1 acrobatics, and 1 rapid fire. So the action tokens are great. We'll get into how they work in another video. So last but not least, we'll talk about chessboard. Of course, you're going to need a chessboard to play MetaChess. I have a couple different boards. This one I like a lot is kind of like a mouse pad material. It rolls up really nice. It has the ranks and files numbered and lettered there on the sides, and it's just super portable and lightweight, and the size of the squares fits my game pieces perfectly. This one is a DIY board that I painted, and it acts as a chessboard and is actually the lid for the case that holds this custom built set of miniatures that I built just for MetaChess, and you can use these for regular chess too. So it has slots for all of the 32 miniatures, player 1 and player 2. And then the combat board in the middle, which is something kind of unique. It's not completely required for the game. We'll talk about it in another video. So that covers this video. That's the first 5 items in the list of supplies you'll need to play the game. In part 2, we'll talk about the chess clock, coin, combat board, dice, and dice tray. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you want to pick up the rule book for MetaChess, you can check out wargamevault.com. You can even preview the first 10 pages of the game, see if it's something you're interested in. And you can also visit Mr.MetaChess.com if you want to see more about what we do at Mr. MetaChess. Thanks for watching.